So Seema was just telling a story. It reminded me of something I want to bring up, but she was telling a story about the first thing that she did when she moved to Los Angeles. And I have a story about the first thing I did when I moved to Los Angeles. And it really, when you have these memories, it really makes you think about the fact that these times, these moments, these are really places. We're really in a different reality of life and how distant it feels. Where did you move? So you moved to LA how long ago? 13 years ago?
Yep.
From Miami.
From Miami, because I got into architectural school with a full scholarship, so I moved over.
Alden said the first thing he did was air one.
Oh, how lucky.
That's the first thing everyone does when they go back to LA. For sure. So what did you buy? Tell us.
I bought a bike because I was accepted in school with a full scholarship, but they told me I had to come in for the summer and take a digital design course because I was going to be designing buildings in the computer with specific software, and I had to learn that software. So I said, well, you gave me a full ride. What do you mean I have to take this additional course and it's not included in the scholarship? And my mom is like, just go to LA and figure it out. Because I didn't have the money. Like, this course was super expensive and it wasn't included in my scholarship. So I decided to fly to LA and to take a risk and go into the university and talk to the principal and tell him, hey, you gave me a full scholarship. What do you mean I have to pay for this extra course? Like, are you dreaming right now? I don't have the funds.
It's pretty amazing how we overcome such obstacles to get to the moment that we are all at now, right? Similar to the evolutionary story. I'm not saying we have to prescribe to that, but we're talking about billions of years of particles of dust. Again, this is a story collecting together and exploding apart and coalescing into life somehow. Again, story. And eventually, over more billions of years, there's us. And then we have this moment to exist in. But so that bike carried you all the way through architecture school. Was it the same bike that I met you on?
Yeah, that was the same bike I used to bike to your gym.
Nice. So
I paid $75 a Nishiki from 1986, a vintage bike. Perfect conditions, aluminum frame.
The first thing I did when I moved to LA was I went to go get a gym membership because I moved to LA to be in the gym business, essentially. I wanted my own gym, and I had no idea how to do that. And I landed in Laguna Beach, and I went to the Newport Beach 24-hour fitness because I was like, hey, I like the idea of a gym opening up 24 hours a day. They don't exist like that in Michigan. And the guy's giving me the old, oh, it's this weekend special. You need to do it today. And what we can do is I can set you up with a 3-year membership. That's actually a lifetime membership, but it's a 3-year membership for like $900. And I wasn't prepared to commit to LA at that time. I never even thought about it. This was 2 days after I landed in LA and with no stream of income, and I'm just being presented with an option: pay $900 and have a 3-year gym membership. And it was at that moment that I was like, well, I guess I'm committing to staying here now forever. I'm buying a lifetime membership to a gym that doesn't exist where I came from. And yeah, that moment was really crazy because it was a mindset, right? And like you said, you wanted to go to architecture school, to the best one, and you just make up your mind. Go to LA and figure it out. That's crazy because that's what your parents did when they moved to America, right?
Yep. And I moved to LA with $700 to leave for 3 months with rent, expenses, food, and almost a $10,000 course that I had to take. And I was like, you know what? I have $700 in my bank. I'm just going to go to LA and I'm gonna figure it out. And I bought a one-way flight. I didn't even tell my parents. I was like, hey, Mom, I'm moving to LA tomorrow. Can you take me to the airport? And she said, no. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll take a taxi. Because, back then, Uber didn't exist. So I took a taxi, and I moved to LA, and I didn't have a place to stay. I landed by myself, and I was like, okay, I guess I have to find a place to stay. And I contacted a friend of one of my ex-boyfriends. And I say, hey, I'm in LA. Can I just crash in your living room?
So the point here is that we make our intentions happen. And we don't even really know if our intentions are ours. If we're really tapped in and connected, they could very well be something else, right? We could be more like radio receivers as opposed to consciousnesses that exist within the body. We could be like receivers receiving the consciousness and including receiving the conscious signals for things like desire. And as long as we're tapped in and present, and that's where things like passion might come from, right? Passion is an unrealistic thing. It's unrealistic. It doesn't make sense to spend the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep on some dream, some passion, right? Some people give up their entire lives for this passion. And, and sometimes there's no payoff. Like Van Gogh lived his entire life broke, poor, and he died in an insane asylum. That was difficult to say. And I think he was also a virgin. But we all know him. His art exists because of his passion. And the intention based on passion and just making it work, right? And really how I started this was how we actually skip realities based on this signaling. And if you think back in your life, you think back at your memories, they really do seem like different places as opposed to different times. You are a different person in a different place. You are in a different dimension. And the crazy thing is that dimension is actually happening right now. So, how do you tune into that person? Is that possible? What do you think? You think it's possible, Seema, that person buying that bike, that there is a way for you to be energetically connected from your current moment and space and time? Is there a way to connect that person from here?
Yeah, of course. I still remember if it is now. It's pretty cool because sometimes I disassociated with me. I can't believe that was the person that just found a used bike on Craigslist because that was my only vehicle. And I actually got a car just a couple years ago. I was always on a bike. You met me with a bike.
Yeah, of course. Look at this person asking if Purium, what we're doing at the Holistic Justice League, is just as fulfilling as architecture. You've never...
I know, yeah. So he's an architecture student, and I love architecture, still my passion. I am an excellent architect. UCLA, the dean of UCLA just contacted me to be a design leader for his studio, and Hito Shiabe, he's really, really famous as well. And I had to make a choice because I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life and what was my heart yawning for. And I realized that we all have passions, but our passions always change. What really light my heart in fire 10 years ago, now it's just I honor it, but now there's something new that lights my heart on fire. And we all have multiple layers of ourselves, right? We have to go through our layers of evolution. And as we go through these layers, we go through breakthroughs on a constant basis. And to break through, you need to break through. You need to go through your own fire, to your own doubts, your own beliefs. And this is the only way to get to the other end, to go through all of this confusion.
Hold on. Can you address this guy's real concern? He's acting like you're unfulfilled in what we're doing now.
Oh, no. He's a little weird.
Yeah,
I know him.
Guys, we're making multiple times the amount of impact and income of what we were doing before. Multiple times. She was an architect. I owned a few gyms. And like this reality that we're in right now is by choice. And it was manifested by passion, like she said, her heart. Our heart is a electromagnetic resonator.
Mm-hmm.
Reality itself is made up of electromagnetism. As you have a heart palpitation, a heart connection to a different version of reality, a different version of yourself, if you follow your heart, you will transform, you will enter a portal into a new time space where a different you exists.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So we all love what to do, and our passions are constantly changing. It doesn't mean that we're not good at that anymore. We are still excellent. Like you're still one of the best coaches I've ever known, and you still are. And I am a freaking amazing architect. What we want to make many things. We want to build big things, and there's many ways to do that. And most people don't see themselves doing the same thing forever. Why would you spend your whole life doing the same thing when there's like infinite possibilities of things that we can start vibrating to? You know, things that we don't know that might really activate that fire and that frequency within ourselves, and we start tuning into alternate realities because now we awaken our consciousness to other things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and we exist in all realities that we have ever been in. And there are some people that stick with one thing. There's a good documentary called Yuri Loves Sushi. And it's about a sushi chef that's done nothing but sushi his entire life. Mm-hmm. And so, as she was saying, as we jump through realities, as we jump through different aspects of ourself, aspect personalities, literally different versions of ourself, we, as she also said, I'm still a coach. She's still an architect. We have connection. That's what I was talking about. She's also still a student. Mm-hmm. She's also still the little girl moving to America. Solar wants to say hi. And so these aren't necessarily memories as much as they are connections to a different reality. And we want to make sure that these connections are open. We want to make sure that we're connected solidly to them and realize that we're also connected solidly to all of the realities that we don't have memories of, because we are also those people. And I just mentioned this dude who's this sushi chef. It's a badass movie. I'm also connected to him because he is a aspect persona of myself. So when we meet people, when we go to different places, when we hear stories of people, whether they're good stories, bad stories, as if good or bad even existed, really feeling the connection as if we are a different character experiencing life through this person, and we're telling the story to ourselves. That's how we open up our heart space to be able to experience a multidimensional reality.
I think he wants to go outside. I'm going to open the door.
All right. I was blabbling on about some stuff. What was the first thing Solar did? What was the first thing Solar did? Oh, so...
He ate a carrot.
He ate a carrot. What do I mean by jumping through realities with yourself? Well, we have to really understand that, most scientists talk about time not existing linearly, which means that we're not traveling through time in one reality. Mm-hmm. The way that we're taught to think and believe, which if your heart is resonating with that, you will believe, you will make it real, is that we're traveling in one reality through time on a certain timeline, and there's a past, present, and future. However, there's many scientific experiments proving that this is relative. That's what the theory of relativity means. And even the satellites going around our globe, if we want to speak from a global standpoint, as opposed to some other standpoint, our satellites are tuned to a different time because they experience time differently. So time is a really funny thing. And the way that I like to think about it, to make a lot of these things make sense, is that we're not traveling through time, we're traveling through realities. So every reality, like those two sounds exist in different realities. And our consciousness, your consciousness, traveled through those realities, and they're both happening. They're both still existing now. And so it's not so much that we're traveling through time in one reality. We're traveling through tons of realities that are all infinitely happening now. So time is pretty much stopped. That's a strong word I don't like to use, but time is just existing everywhere. Everywhere is now, because every moment we've ever been in has been now. Every moment has always been now. And from the standpoint of now, the past and the future don't exist. They exist in a separate place, but they're not here. They're somewhere else. And so it goes back to that electromagnetic resonator of the heart. If you want to travel to different realities, which all are different shapes of electromagnetism, your heart needs to be tuned to the frequency of that reality. So when she was the 14-year-old student moving to America, not knowing English, this was a frequency that she was resonating with, called into her existence based on either her personal destiny or some sort of plan that she had internally in her physical body, or some other version of herself coordinating this. And she does have free will. We all have free will. But the thing here is, don't resist. When your heart feels something, when you feel yourself pulled with the flow, like amplify that, because you want to be the strongest resonator in your reality, because everybody else has frequencies also. They are you, though, but you want to be the one that's shape-shifting everything.
Yep. Although I must say that we all live in cities, and the heart can't really project. The electromagnetic field of the heart really doesn't project too much if you are always in the city, because walls and EMF, that, believe it or not, that stops your frequency, your heart frequency to manifest. And this is why, like, Burning Man and everybody that really wants to manifest something immediately, they go out in nature, because there's no walls, there's no EMF, there's nothing that stops the wavelength of your heart to reach the infinite intelligence, so it can come back to you in the form of manifestation. So I suggest tune in to what you truly want. Ask yourself in every single decision or choice that you have to make through the day, what is my heart's desires? Do I really want this or not? If I had all the money in the world, would I purchase this or not? If I really had to do it, like, would I or not? Like, keep asking you those questions and come from a place from the heart. Always follow the heart. Your intuition knows a lot more than you do. Your higher self, it's always smarter. And somebody asked the questions about Manifestation 101, and I think it's just vibrate at the frequency and become what you want to create now. Create that feeling now. If you want to feel like you are a business owner, then act like a business owner now, because you're only going to manifest at the vibration that you're putting out to the universe. So if you're putting out doubt, you're only going to attract doubt. If you say, oh my gosh, why am I going from unhealthy relationship to unhealthy relationship? Then look at the unhealthy relationship that you have with yourself. Because you are attracting that. The heart attracts what we are desiring now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm going to put it a few different ways, though. So essentially what she's saying is manifestation can be explained many different ways. It can be explained to a scientific person. I've had discussions with SpaceX rocket engineers, and all of this stuff can be explained as woo-woo as you want or as down-to-earth as you want, in quotes. And the down, like what she was saying, the down-to-earth way of explaining this is, in order to be a certain person, to be, like she said, a business owner, someone who's wealthy, that takes a series of events to happen. And all of these events is basically the difference between like a yes or a no. They're all choices. You choose to walk outside or you choose to eat breakfast every morning. There's like a choice. Do I step right? Do I step left? Life is filled with choices. And the strategy to get to your desired reality is an equation, okay? And this equation is going to be a series of the right choices. And so just like a computer is just filled with ones and zeros, it's just an equation of ones and zeros. You want to check off all of the yeses and nos. And one of the yeses and nos about being a winner is that you are a winner. In order to be a wealthy person, you have to feel like a wealthy person. Like that is almost primary, okay? You don't become wealthy, you don't become a winner by thinking you're a loser, okay? So if you want to think about like, what's the primary thing I should be doing right now to get me to point X? Well, like being at point X requires you to be a certain way and act a certain way. Figure out, number one, what point X is. Where do you want to be? Because 99% of us have no idea where point X is. It's just like they're kind of going through life being like, oh, see where I'll end up. Oh, this, wherever I'm going to end up in 5 years is where I end up. That's cool. That's a cool existence, but not if you're suffering. If you're suffering, figure out where you want to be and then be that person now. Because you're not going to get there unless you're that person. People think that winning a medal makes people the winner. Winning the game makes them the winner. That's not true, everybody. Like, when an athlete wins something, the act of winning is not what made them the winner. The act of getting up at 5 a.m. before school their entire childhood and practicing for 3 hours a day and making diet choices for 20 years of their life to get to the point where they're in a game, they're versing an opponent or a team where they can achieve dominance. Like, all of the choices made up to that point makes the person a winner. Now, here's the crazy thing that's the head trip. The person who wins doesn't see himself as a winner until he wins. And then so the whole thing comes, was that game even necessary? Could they have just identified with a winner and been a winner and not felt like a loser striving for excellence and haven't reached it yet? Could they have just been just as happy, just as content the entire 20-year journey before they actually got the prize? Because from my standpoint, I've been an athlete my entire life. I'm just choosing now to feel like the best version of myself at all moments. It doesn't matter if I, quote, win a game or lose a game. I am who I am. And that is that.
I mean, we can get even more metaphysical because we are everything, right?
Yeah.
We are the whole universe. Some of our brains don't have the capacity to really understand what we are. So I always say we're a child of God. It makes it so much easier for us to understand that we do have a link to the Creator because we are. And just by coming from that feeling of what you truly desire, the universe delivers. It's just tuning in with that. Then, like you always tell me, it comes more perfect than you could ever imagined it.
Always. Let's talk about the universe, everybody, because that's another thing that everybody's subscribing to this story of entropy, that there was organization and this explosion happened and now everything is breaking down and the sun's going to explode and break down and organization throughout the entire universe is breaking down. Guys, this explains a lot of why we all try and break down each other. While we're coming together on this thing called the internet, literally the World Wide Web, cohesiveness, and what we're doing is we're breaking each other down. We're breaking our brothers and sisters' motivations down. We're trying to prove people wrong. And it's because we have this view of existence itself, this view of the universe as a dying organism. There's only creation. Okay, creation is grander than critiquing. Okay, so rather than tearing down, we are creating. Now, I got proposed something from a very high level person telling me that he spoke to aliens because they exist. So I'm going to skip over how all of that happened. But these beings were telling him that the universe itself hasn't been born yet, that it is actually in some sort of womb, and it is, they're saying they don't know what that means. They don't know what's beyond birth. But imagine this universe as being inside of a womb, and we are a part of that. We are growing. We are creating existence itself, all right? The double split experiment in quantum physics. Anyone heard of it? We are creating all of this because we are a part of a creating source that hasn't been born yet. It's a whole different way of experiencing life and the universe.
Yeah, pretty cool. You just say internet, and I looked up at the word inter, and intern means it's defined as between, among, or within. Inter is defined as between, among, or within. An example of the use inter is in the word interstate. So it means a road that connects multiple states to each other. Isn't that cool? Are you following? It's like a place. It's a road that connects multiple states of being, and then the net is connecting multiple states of reality, multiple states of in the net, right? Through the internet, we really can connect in so many different wavelengths. It's actually pretty cool.
It is. And if you guys want to have a really interesting scope of reality, start looking up what words mean. Start looking up the etymology of words, because this is how we define existence, right? Uh-huh. When we look at things, we think apple, tree, grass, house. Where did these things come from? What made the apple? Like, how did that come to be? How did that sound come to be? And once you start looking up the English language, you'll realize that it's very, it's a poor representation of reality. And you start getting into older languages like Hebrew, and you'll start really getting into some crazy, wild things about the origin of the sound. Sound, language. Language means tongue. Lingua. It's our spellcaster.
I mean, yeah, when we speak, we declare, and when we declare, we create. So it's definitely the vibration and just agreements that we have done, agreements that we are agreeing to that we never even agreed to on the first place. Isn't that so wrong?
Yeah. So I'm just looking through these comments. Savan, your comments
somebody
are
asked a question.
Hilarious.
Isn't that a question?
No. I don't know what that is. The questions are in this box that says questions.
Oh, yeah. Nobody asked a question.
No, they're just commenting. Guys, thank you for being here. Just having random thoughts. We started talking about a bicycle. And
because I told you
that was
if
a
it wasn't
reality.
For that bicycle, that I would bike at 3 a.m. out of architectural school in the middle of Skid Row, like pedaling like a crazy woman because I wanted to get to my apartment in downtown LA. And I did that for a couple years until I graduated from architectural school. And then I was telling Ra, if it wasn't for those tough nights where I had to bike by myself super late and build my grit, build that strength of character that I'm going to get what I want no matter what, in that belief and desire, if it wasn't for that bike, like, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here creating an empire of wellness warriors and people that really want to end human suffering and start activating our inner powers everywhere to everyone, because everyone deserves to have that feeling. That feeling that creates. And so as we change, as our communities change, so does the world. And that's how we can start to activate the whole collective consciousness and really rise all together. When we really understand that it's about service. It's about giving. It's about giving up and stop withholding what's allowing you to survive and to fix, because that's the always already happening. The always already happening in the most predictable future.
That's where
it's
mine
because
goes.
You're surviving and fixing. And that's what we all do. We're trying to survive situations, conversations, relationships, or we're fixing. Everybody needs to be fixed. Everyone's broken. Like, we're the so top healers that we need to heal everyone. And that's a lie. We are not responsible for healing or surviving. We are responsible for being our true selves, for creating these new paradigm of possibilities where we give up. We give up the resistance.
Surrender.
We give up this. Yeah, we give up the manipulation. Everyone manipulates on a daily basis. Everyone does. We're manipulating with our words. We're manipulating with our actions. We're manipulating with everything. It's incredible if you really pay attention to how manipulative we all are by nature, because we've been programmed like that. So we can give up that, really let it go, come from a place of generosity, responsibility, and love. And whatever your definition of love is, that's going to allow you to keep going in the flow. And like Ross said, it's all about decisions. We're in the flow in the universe. We're flowing. We're in constant motion. We're never going to stop moving. It's just a matter of choices. And every choice that you make is going to get you to a different direction. But you have to constantly be giving up. Constantly be giving up. Whatever you're holding on, give it up immediately. If you're getting in an argument, so give it up. Let it go. Come from your values. And you know what is cool? That we all have ideals and we have values. And we are automatically run by our ideals. Like, my ideal relationship should be this way. My ideal best friend should call me when I'm sick. My ideal husband should do this for me. My ideal boss should give me the day off. My ideal, whatever your ideal is, quit. Give it up. Because your ideals of what a friendship is completely different than my ideal friendship. And if we're not in alignment with our ideals, guess what? Everyone's going to be disappointed. Everyone's going to be frustrated. And you're going to create false expectations. It's just a mess. But when you learn to run your life from your values, your values is what rules your soul. Your values create your personal reality, which is your personality. That's what Dispenza says. And if you can just really come into a moment and really acknowledge what are your values, because your values move you. They move you to create and they move you to manifest. Is your values self-expression? It's one of your values unconditional love. It's one of your values to surrender. What are your values? And then when your best friend doesn't call you when you're sick, instead of being pissed off and just blocking her on your phone or whatever you may do, stop it. You're running again on your ideal friendship. Think about your value. It's unconditional love. It's forgiveness. It's, giving up. Then you have a totally different relationship. And now you're manifesting a way better reality. Does that make sense?
Yes. And thank you for lecturing.
I know, I kind of got a little inspired.
So somebody asked about magic. And so she just, she also mentioned manipulation comes from the term mani, right? Hands, manos, hands. We use our hands to manipulate things, and we can manipulate with the other versions of ourselves, our sounds and things. But somebody asked about magic, and that word comes from magi, which are the three most famous magi are the three wise men in the story that is also in the Bible. And the three wise men showed up at, and I'll just go with the biblical story. This story is replicated through many religions, but the biblical story of the Magi, do you think maybe that's going to ruin the Wi-Fi connection? Because we're out in the boonies here.
Sorry, I can close it off.
So the 3 wise men were Magi, and they showed up at the birth of Christ, which means like clear crystal, and they brought gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now, gold is a gift that you would traditionally gift to a king. Frankincense is a gift that you would give to a priest figure. And myrrh is a gift for someone who has died. So the 3 Magi come, and they basically have pre-sensual abilities. They sense the future, right? And they show up and they basically say, this boy, if we're speaking from a duality of sexism standpoint, this boy will become a king, he will become a priest, like a godly figure, and he will die. We all die. But those gifts...
Oh, you only die if you believe in death.
That's right. Those gifts, and actually the whole story of Christ's death, is also another one of those things where I said the universe is dying. That's another perpetuated thing. It could be something much more than him being nailed up to a cross, all right? Imagine the dude volunteered to do that, and he orchestrated the whole thing, because that's what we're freaking talking about here, right? Creation. You think that this powerful being came and just got like nailed up on the cross, guys? I'm going on a huge tangent here, but that was an initiation. This man was highly gifted, and to die, to ascend the physical body is something that all spiritual masters are waiting for. They're looking forward to this moment, because death is an initiation practice. When you learn to transcend the physical body, you no longer need it. And that very final test of going through the physical dying process of the physical body in order to free yourself from all these limits that we're mentioning on this talk is a practice, guys. It was orchestrated by the man himself. Anyways, back to the Magi. How did they know? I'm just going to leave it there. Magic is from Magi. These people came, the 3 guys, the 3 wise men, and they were very present. And so if you guys want pre-sensual abilities, if you want the ability to sense the future, it comes down to one thing: presence, pre-sense. Be present in the moment, as she was saying. It's all about tuning to your own frequency, because that is the frequency of the reality that you find yourself in. And as long as you know thyself, you're going to know everything.
Well, I think all we know is that we exist.
Right. And so that's the
We don't even know if we are living in the matrix.
And we're not even completely certain of that.
Exactly. I think that all I know is that I exist because I have a consciousness. I don't know if I exist in this matrix, in like a million bazillion realities, but I know I exist somewhere in the universe, in the void, in the source. I exist because I can see, if that makes sense. Because I'm confused.
And it's good to not know, it's good to question without answers, because once you pair the answer with the question, then the question ceases to exist and the answer ceases to exist. It's like 2 opposites come together and they explode and they end.
I mean, as much as I know, this could be all in this. You guys could all be right now a projection of my imagination.
Mm-hmm. And it's sick. It's awesome.
And everything is happening for me.
Yep.
So.
And you're designing it also.
And the only power that I have is to control my reaction. Because we can't control the exterior environment because we are creating everything.
We are the exterior environment.
Everything is always in perfect control.
Us right now, you guys listening to us talk is really you bringing this message into your life for a reason, for you. It is not us as external figures, blah, blah, blahing on a screen, and you're just kind of like at home, like, oh, I guess I'll watch these two lunatics talk. Like, no, you brought yourself to this time and space to receive this message for your growth.
Everything that's happening
so
is
you must
not
be very
happening
important.
to you. It's happening for you. Like literally, nothing's happening to you. Nothing in life is happening to us. Everything is happening for us. Everything, it's a learning experience. And again, we're going to be shedding so many layers of ourselves that you have to release and let go so you can continue in the flow of the universe. In the flow of your life. And whatever you believe is going to become true.
All right, let's think about something that we can love just a little bit more than we ever considered and connect to that, right? You want connection to everything. Connect to that piece of sidewalk you walk on every single day. When was the last time you thanked that for existing for you? Are we done here?
Maybe.
I think so. Hey, thank you so much for the comments. I noticed there's a lot, and so we couldn't get to all of you. But we appreciate you all being here. We appreciate all of the energy. And
we are going live more often.
Yeah, and I will put this on my IGTV if it allows me. As some of you asked. So yeah, do the right thing and share that. All right.
I love you. Gracias a todos. Muy pronto él va a aprender español y podemos hablar en diferentes idiomas.
Peace out.
Bye.